She musters a smile for his nostalgic tale. Never coming near what he wanted to say, only to realize it never really was. She had a place in his life.
Oh, yeah. Sing it, Michael.
As she rises to her apology, anybody else would surely know.
The Doobie Brothers.
He's watching her go. But a fool believes he sees. No wise man has the power.
What a fool believes. And good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're listening to the Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Welcome, the Doobie Brothers. Finally got a chance to see them this past week on Wednesday over at PNC Bank Arts Center, the last concert of the season. It was postponed from September for bad rain. Great night, Steve Winwood opening. We'll play some Steve Winwood a little bit later on the show, but always a good time when you can see a concert outside, especially in the month of October. Now, coming up in 20 minutes, Maira Kimura. She's one of the ladies who leads an all-female Japanese-Brazilian brewery based in Brazil, obviously, called Japas Cervaseria. She will join me on the program. It's an interview recorded about 2 weeks ago. Lots to talk about with Maira. They embark on their 10th anniversary, collaborations with other breweries. And Maira herself will be in New York and Washington, D.C. this coming week, and so much more. We will get into it, all of it, with Maira in just a little bit. Now, of course, portions of the program brought to you by Wet Ticket Brewing, 1435 Main Street in beautiful Rahway, New Jersey. Oktoberfest this past weekend. That was a lot of fun. We'll chat about that in our next segment. What else? We have the pizza party coming up this coming Friday at Wet Ticket Brewing. Hopefully you can join us from 5 to 8 p.m. We'll get into more of that in just a moment. Great stuff coming from Wet Ticket Brewing. But let's get into some beer news because there's a lot of it. No Li Brewhouse and Tilray brands a couple weeks ago settled the dispute over the trademark to Big Juicy Beers. The Spokane, Washington-based craft brewery had filed a lawsuit in late April against the craft beer and cannabis platform, alleging Tilray's Red Hook brand had infringed upon its mark for Big Juicy with the release of Big Juicy Ballard IPA. The parties have mutually settled the dispute according to a motion to dismiss filed by an attorney for No Li on September 18th. That was in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Washington. U.S. District Judge Thomas O'Rice granted a No Li's dismissal request that past Monday, entering an order of dismissal with prejudice. With prejudice means the case is permanently closed and No Li cannot file a similar lawsuit on the matter in the future. In its original complaint, No Li showed that it had filed an application in December of 2015 for the Big Juicy trademark with the U.S. Trademark Office, and a notice of allowance was granted to the company in January of 2017. No Li shared the following statement from its attorney. While the terms of the settlement are confidential, we can say that the matter has been resolved and that Tilray, American Beverage Company, are changing their Big Juicy branding. Other news from Tilray. The company is transferring large-scale production from the Breckenridge Brewery outpost in Fort Collins to other owned facilities in an effort to eliminate areas of duplication within the organization. This is not a surprise here. This is Tilray's Chief Corporate Affairs Officer, Baron Nurata, told the Coloradian. Coloradian? Yeah, the Coloradian. The move comes after Tilray rebranded the taproom in August from a Sweetwater location to a Breckenridge outpost. A press release on the change stated that 40 workers, including head brewer Ryan Joy, would work at the location, according to the outlet. As a result, layoffs expected at the location. One employee telling the outlet that their last day is on October the 25th. The tap room in Fort Collins will continue operations, including small-scale production from the location. Again, Tilray has acquired a number of brands around the country. I would expect a lot of duplication in a lot of those areas, and obviously layoffs happened. They got rid of their entire brewing team and innovation brewing team at 10 Barrel Brewing in Bend, Oregon, back in early September. So this comes as no surprise. Whether or not it works out for them, That's a different set of circumstances. AB did the same thing when they acquired these brands. They sort of cut production in certain places, closed it up, moved, like Blue Point's beer was being brewed out of Newark and upstate as opposed to continuing to brew it at their facility in Long Island. So, again, we shall see what happens here as things move on. And when we find out that information, we will get it to you. But, again, you're acquiring all these companies. You're trying to save money. Of course, you're going to have duplication in a lot of places. You're going to cut jobs, which is always a bad thing. As I mentioned at the top of the show, Friday, October 11th, that's this coming Friday, from 5 to 8 p.m., Wet Ticket Brewing, 1435 Main Street, Rahway, New Jersey. It's the Too Much Fun beer release party. The beer is out now, but we're going to do a party around it. I'm going to be buying pizza from Nancy's Townhouse. That's me. I'm buying that. The new Hazy IPA release will be on tap, along with a plethora of other beers to try. It's around 6%. It's on sale now, but we're going to have a pizza party from 5 to 8 p.m. Come in. The pizza is free. I'm paying for it. Have a slice, have two. Enjoy the beer. Hopefully you can stick around for a bit. We'll have some conversation. I'll be interviewing Tim for the Beer Cast for next week's program. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you join us. It's going to be great. Governor Gavin Newsom has signed Assembly Bill 2174 that creates a beer caterer's permit. This allows beer manufacturers in California to sell their products at events beyond their own premises, including street fairs, community gatherings, private parties, and civic events held anywhere in the state, which has been approved by the Department of Alcohol Beverage Control, according to the California Craft Brewers Association. This is great news. Beer manufacturers with a Type 01 or Type 23 license can apply for the permit starting January 1 of next year. The permit can be renewed annually with a $275 fee. Breweries that receive the permit can sell up to 124 gallons of beer per event and can do a maximum of 36 events per calendar year. Beer sold with the permit cannot be consumed outside of the event space. So you can sell the beer. You can't. Cannot be consumed outside of the event space. But it sounds to me like they can sell the. I don't know. Can you sell 4 packs of beer? You should be able to. I thought that that's what the bill did. We'll have to dive into this a little bit more. I'm going to have to get some more information on this, because I think this is a good thing for California brewers. But I also think that this also allows for you to sell packaged goods to take home with you at an event. I have to get clarification on that. We'll see. Lost Tavern Brewing. They had their Hops for Hope event a couple of weeks ago. I was unable to attend. I was in Philly on Friday night for ELO that weekend. It just was a tough go for me to get there. Very excited, though. They set a new record for raising money for pediatric cancer. $35,000. That is awesome. And as they said in a statement on their Facebook page, this would not be remotely possible without so many others outside of our direct Lost Tavern team being involved. Another huge shout-out to all the incredible breweries and their incredibly huge hearts for the support. In so many ways, excellent beer is just the cherry on the top. Thank you to all the incredible local sponsors for such an insane amount of support and generosity. We have already begun planning for an even bigger day in 2025, energized by everyone's continued love. That is awesome. $35,000 raised for pediatric cancer. 100% of the proceeds go directly to pediatric cancer. That is pretty awesome. Michigan-based New Holland Brewing is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the world's greatest role-playing game. You know it, Dungeons & Dragons. It's had a resurgence now. You're seeing it at a lot of breweries. And now New Holland Brewing has a new addition to its famed Dragon's Milk Barrel-Aged Stout lineup in November, created in collaboration with Hasbro and its Wizard of the Coasts division, which is home to all things Dungeons & Dragons. This November release is but the latest expansion to New Holland's award-winning Dragon Milk Stout line, which has received numerous accolades over the years, including a gold at the New York International Beer Competition and a silver at the Great American Beer Festival, which is really cool. Brett Vanderkamp, the CEO and founder of New Holland Brewing, says, brewed with the same passion that fuels D&D adventures, Dragon's Milk has a nationally renowned reputation as a bold, legendary beverage. Not only does our work with Hasbro allow us to honor D&D's 50-year history, but it also underscores our shared values of creating savored moments and forging lasting friendships. That is really cool. So kudos to New Holland Brewing for a new Dragon's Milk barrel-aged stout line that'll all be coming out in November. And I'm a big fan of Dungeons & Dragons. I loved playing the game as a kid. I haven't played it really as an adult. But I think it's cool that it's had a resurgence now, and you're seeing breweries doing Dungeons & Dragon nights and people coming in and rolling the dice. And, that was our creativity back then, before video games and all the other things. And we had video games, but not to the sophistication that it is now. So it's really cool that Dungeons & Dragons, the role-playing game, has had such a resurgence. I love that. That's pretty cool. Now, when we come back after a short break, we're going to have more news and notes from around the beer world. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. A little Steve Winwood from his solo stuff. Roll with it, man. He was great the other night with the Doobie Brothers. A lot of Traffic, a lot of Blind Faith, a lot of Spencer Davis Group. Very few solo hits. 10 songs in all, but he rocked every one of them out. Good stuff. My first time seeing Steve Winwood, so that was a lot of fun. Now, coming up in 10 minutes, Maira Kimura. She's one of the ladies leading that all-female Japanese-Brazilian brewery, Japas Cervaseria. She's going to join me on the program. It's an interview I recorded about 2 weeks ago. They're celebrating their 10th anniversary as a brewery. They're doing collabs with a bunch of breweries around the world. But also, Maira is going to be back here in the United States. She'll be in New York City. She'll be in Washington, D.C. I'll give you all the details of where she is going to be over the next week or so. Coming up in just about 10 minutes from now, which is really cool. Bunch of news to get to. A lot of Oktoberfest celebrations, a lot of them in the Catskill and Westchester County regions. Oktoberfest underway at Hunter Mountain. They've kicked off the first of 3 weekends of events with live music, local vendors, delicious food, and the scenic sky ride. Guinness's Oktoberfest, Gavin's Guinness's Oktoberfest, is back for its 16th year, coming up on October 11th. Hudson kicked off the second annual Oktoberfest by bringing together more breweries, food vendors, live music, a block party along State Street. Tickets available in the Upper Depot tap room or online. That's for the next couple of weekends until about the end of the month. Westchester's largest county park holding its annual Halloween celebration. Spooktacular Oktoberfest set for October 26th. The Trailside Nature Museum at Ward Pound Ridge Reservation in Cross River. All attendees welcome to wear Halloween costumes. Children's activities as well will include trick-or-treating, hay rides, pumpkin painting, pony rides, crafts, a bounce house, food, music, and more. The event's Oktoberfest will be held in the Bergfield section. It'll feature live music, a variety of food trucks, and the Captain Lawrence Brewing Company will also be there as well. That's really cool. And up in Cairo, New York, in Greene County, a Halloween-themed brewery opening. Storybrook Hollow, the fantasy boutique store in the Old Stone Tower restaurant in Cairo, is holding a grand opening for the perennial favorite on Friday, October 18th from 4 to 8 p.m. There will be ghouls and goblins, goodies, and activities along with a variety of handcrafted brews from local Hudson Valley farms. The brewery is open year-round. The haunted version, though, will only run until the end of October. So if you have a chance, get up there. And, you could do some different things up just above New York City, not too far away in a car ride. Governor Newsom has signed a bill into law that allows alcohol sales until 4 a.m. The rule, though, only applies to the Intuit Dome, the new arena home of the Los Angeles Clippers, and only to VIP suite holders. Bills to extend the last call for alcohol to 4 a.m. statewide have consistently failed to pass in the legislature. Some cities, of course, like New York and Chicago, do have 4 a.m. last calls. Bars in Alaska can serve customers until 5 a.m., and Nevada and Louisiana serve alcohol 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I did know that because I've been in both states, and I've been in places in Louisiana where you can get a beer at any single time that you want. Interesting, though, only at the Clippers Arena do they have sales until 4 a.m. And the funny part is, who's at the arena at 4 a.m.? Very strange. California laws are sometimes very confusing. Speaking of California, San Diego University says that they are no longer going to be holding courses for the business of craft beer. It's due to a decline in enrollment, according to a statement from San Diego State University's Global Campus. It's a huge loss. Gonzalo Quintero, a veteran craft beer insider who had applied to become the program coordinator, told the San Diego Union Tribune, "My entire management plan was to work with the casinos to have a pipeline of students. So unfortunately, that's going to be ending." And look, the craft beer business is going into a major flux. There are issues. We're seeing breweries closing. We're seeing breweries consolidating. We're seeing breweries switch to a contract brewing method as opposed to spending the money to brew the beer themselves. I hope that these breweries that are contract brewing will tell the people that they're consumers that they are contract brewing, that they are no longer brewing the beer themselves, that somebody else is brewing it. I think that's important for transparency. And most places will get your beer to those exacting standards that you want. I mean, you're working with a company. No brewery that's doing contract brewing wants to put out a bad beer for another company. I mean, that just looks bad. It's bad for business. So, again, we're seeing a lot of different changes. This doesn't surprise me at all. I know that Stockton University does have a program in New Jersey on craft beer, but it'll be interesting to see how much longer that lasts if people aren't signing up for it. Alewife Brewing out in Queens, they're having a third anniversary party that's happening on Saturday, October 12th. Live music, delicious food, and, of course, all the Alewife brews and cocktails you love. Again, that is on Saturday, October 12th. Excuse me, and that will be all day long. Our good friends at WeldWorks have released some different releases around the Great American Beer Festival, which is taking place this coming week. The sale started yesterday. You can, of course, go to Eventbrite. I believe it's Eventbrite. You don't need an access code. Go right in, and you can order some of these beers. They may be sold out already. The 2024 Media Noche is out. This batches aged for 25 to 39 months. Extensive aging took place in Old Elk Port Cask Finished Bourbon, Law's Whiskey House Rye Whiskey, Weeded Weller Bourbon, Buzzard's Roost Bourbon, Wild Turkey Rare Breed Bourbon, Old Elk Bourbon, Sazerac Rye Whiskey, Blanton's Bourbon, and Stag Junior Bourbon barrels. The final product explodes with notes of chocolate-dipped orange, salted caramel, vanilla pudding, nutmeg, toasted pecan, and rich oak. It's available in limited quantities within WeldWorks' distribution footprint. Asino di Medianoche is a collaboration between WeldWorks and Toppling Goliath. That's pretty cool. This was brewed back in the summer of 2021. It is a mashup of Medianoche and Assassin, which is Toppling Goliath's legendary stout. Rested in sets of 10-year Templeton Rye whiskey and 9-year Blanton's bourbon barrels. Then they aged the beer, WeldWorks did, for an additional 45 days on Madagascar bourbon vanilla beans to create an incredibly rich and flavorful stout, one that we believe lives up to the name Assassin. That's according to the press release. Again, pickup begins on Wednesday, October 9th at 11 a.m. The last day for pickup of Eventbrite sales is Sunday, October 27th by 7 p.m. So again, go to Eventbrite. You can order bottles if there are any available right now, and you can pick them up starting this coming Wednesday, October 9th. The following beers, though, will be available at WeldWorks starting Friday, October 11th, and within WeldWorks distribution footprint, including New York and New Jersey, as well as a number of other states. That starts in mid-October. Doom and Bloom. This is a hazy double IPA with Nectaron and Riwaka. It's no wonder this juicy number was voted best IPA in WeldWorks' recent 2023 fan favorite poll. It is an 8.4% ABV beer, bursting with notes of orange cream, grapefruit, and passion fruit. And then Blueberry and Huckleberry Pie. It is a sour ale transported to another time, according to the press release, with ripened huckleberries, juicy blueberries, and toast graham crackers, along with hints of cinnamon and vanilla to round out some classic Americana flavor. It is a 5.2% ABV beer. That sounds delicious. Wondering if I can get some samples of those beers. I know the Media Noche beers, impossible, but maybe some of those cans. I don't know. Shay, if you're listening and can help me out with WeldWorks, that would be pretty awesome. So good stuff from our good friends at WeldWorks. Look, there's a lot of stuff going on in the beer world, and again, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the coming months towards the end of the year and into the beginning of next year, how things are going to shift. I think we are still going to see some more closings, and I think the breweries that take advantage, wherever they may be, of changing the narrative to get customers in the stores, whether it's live music, whether it's trivia nights, whether if you're a brew pub to enhance your food and move things forward, you've got to figure out a way to get people in there and keep them in there for a period of time. It's the only way it's going to work. And if you're not making good beer, you're going to be behind the eight ball. So maybe it's time to sharpen it up and make some better beer too. And take some honest criticism from folks that are drinking your beer. They're not coming back time and time again. That's a problem. Just saying. When we come back after a short break, Maira Kimura from Japas Cervaseria will join me on the program. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer.
Drunken rays came storming in. 5 a.m. you woke me up again. Cause the devil's on ice and your friend dying.
Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. Doing things a little differently this time. Little Teddy Swims, What More Can I Say? That's from his I've Tried Everything But Therapy Part 1 album. And doing things a little differently today as we're recording this interview on Zoom. It's actually the first time that I've ever done an interview on Zoom and recorded it for the Craft Beer Cast. So bear with me, old guy trying to pick up the new technology from everybody. But my guest joining me right now from Brazil, actually, is a person, a part of a trio of women, I should say, that discovered their ancestry through beer. It's a great story. They're celebrating their 10-year anniversary this year. They're doing a number of events, including collaborations around the world to honor it. Japas Cervaseria, that's spelled Cervaseria.com is the website for more information. They're going to be in New York very soon. They're going to be in Washington, D.C. as well. But let me welcome back to the Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, the Answer, Maira Kimura. Maira, thanks for joining me again. How are you?
Hi, I'm very honored to be here again. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, what is the feeling, Maira, between you and Yumi Shimada and Fernando Uneo at reaching your 10th anniversary as a brewery? Are you finding it as exciting as day one, or is it just business as usual?
More exciting as day one, actually, because we didn't have it became something much bigger than what we expected back then when we did the first batch of Wasabiru, which is our American pale ale with wasabi. Mm-hmm. So we're so excited to be 10 years old now. We actually, it's kind of unbelievable how much we've been through to get here. So, right. But we're very, very happy.
Now, part of how you're celebrating this 10th anniversary is that you're throwing a party on the 19th of October. And the party, I'm assuming, is going to be held in Brazil, I'm guessing at the brewery. How are you going to be celebrating this big 10th anniversary?
It's going to be in a park in São Paulo. Yeah, you're correct. It's in Brazil. And it's going to be inside of a Japanese pavilion that it's inside a park in São Paulo. So there's going to be DJs and bands and, of course, some of the collabs that we're brewing this year, right, to celebrate our 10th anniversary. And a lot of fun things going on during the day. It's going to be like a whole day, like from 11 o'clock until 9 or 10 o'clock.
Almost like Carnival, except a little bit shorter.
Yeah, a one-day carnival.
That's it. And for those that don't know, the largest concentration of Japanese that are outside of Japan itself is actually in Brazil, which is part of the fascinating story behind the three ladies. We're talking with Maira Kimura, the co-founder, brewer, and business strategist for Japas Cervaseria. Their beers are available here in the United States through Beer International. Maira will be in New York City and Washington, D.C. this coming week and next. More info on their website, japascervaseria.com. We're here on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. So let's talk about the new release that you have coming out called Kanpai, which is cheers in Japanese. It's an 8% grape ale that used white grapes in the recipe. You were trying to create a champagne style of beer here, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. The idea is to have of course, it's a beer, but it has some elements of champagne. Of course, the white grapes. It's a it's a great amount of white grapes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be a fruity. And despite the fact that it's 8% ABV, it's going to be a lighter beer. I mean, something easy to drink. That's what I mean.
Right, except watch the alcohol, because if you have too many, then you're probably not going to want to get behind the wheel. You probably want to take some mass transit or something like that.
Yeah, don't drink too much, but drink a little bit of it.
There you go. And of all the beers you could have brought back, you decided to go with your first, an American Pale Ale that you mentioned earlier, Waspiru. How does the addition of wasabi add to the flavor of this brew?
The flavor of wasabi is very characteristic. So everybody who's used to eat it during eating Japanese food is very aware of it.
Right.
But it doesn't have that, how do you say, when it goes into your nose and it's
clears the sinuses?
Yeah, it doesn't do that. So
Okay.
you can be very cool.
Well, because adding heat to a beer is very tricky. I mean, there was a brewer for a long time at Ballast Point. They used to do a habanero sculpin that was, you never knew what you were going to get from bottle to bottle. Some of it would be mild, some of it would be very heavy. So heat is one of those tricky things that if you add a little, it's okay. But if you add too much, you can't pull that out when you're doing it. So that's got to be a tricky thing with you ladies when you're adding that wasabi. How much is too much, right?
Yeah, we did a lot of tests to come up with the right amount of wasabi. So it's very controlled.
Right. We're talking with Maira Kimura. She is the co-founder, brewer, and business strategist for Japas Cervaseria. Their beers are available in the United States through Beer to National. Maira will be in New York City and Washington, D.C. This coming week and next. More info for all of these things, go to their Facebook page. You can just head to their website, japascervaseria.com. We'll post a link on X and our Facebook page as well. We're here on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. So, Maira, you are coming back to the United States for the first time in almost 2 years. So how excited are you to pour some Japas Cervaseria for folks coming to Snallygaster in Washington, D.C. on October 12th?
I'm very excited to go back to the States. The last time we went there, it was in a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a while. I'm excited to try the new things. And being in Snallygaster, it's going to be a real-time lab for me. I want to try as much beer as I can, like different beers.
Right.
And of course, we're so excited to be there because it's such a cool event. So I'm also honored to be invited to Snallygaster.
I've never been to that event. I've promoted it before on the program, and I've never been there. And I've said I've got to get down there one year because it's only a couple-hour car ride for me from New York City. But from what I'm hearing, it's, they close off streets and people are walking around, and there are really some fantastic breweries that are there. So I really do hope that you get a chance to experience all of the different things and all of the different breweries that are at this event, which is awesome. I remember the event that I was at with you guys at the Jeffrey right by Roosevelt Island a couple of years ago. That was a fun night. You might not know this. After I left, I got stuck in one of the tunnels heading back home to Jersey. And let's just say I probably should have went to the bathroom beforehand because it was very dicey getting out of that traffic and getting back home to New Jersey. But I made it, so it was okay. But you have a bunch of events coming up, not only in D.C., but in New York as well. And I'm excited that I'm going to see you at this Beer and Cheese Collective event this coming Monday, October 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. Have you ever paired your beers with cheese before?
No, I've never done an event that is exclusively with beer and cheese.
Right.
I'm very excited. provided the descriptions of the beers, and we gave samples. So everybody's doing the pairing right now. We're going to be doing this together. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's cool. I did a beer and cheese event about a year ago at a French cheese place. A friend of mine had hired me to do this thing, and we were trying to come up with what beers are we going to use, and we ended up partnering with a brewery right downtown in New York, and everything paired up perfectly. And it's really funny that people don't understand that. I think beer and food pair up better than wine and food. Everybody thinks that wine and food sort of go simpatico, and that's not really the case. It's more beer because you can sort of match the flavors to the hops or the flavor profile that you're going for closer to food than you could with wine, which is a really cool experience. So I'm excited to share that experience with you. Now, here, my last question here, Maira. I know that some of the collaboration beers are out now that you're doing with various breweries around the world, and including in the United States. WeldWorks is one of the breweries that you're doing a collaboration with. What was the experience like brewing with so many friends from around the world? Was it the same in every location that you were at, or was it different?
It was different because every brewery is different. So it was like a great experience to that exchange with each and one of them. With WeldWorks, it was amazing to create this concept with them. We actually, the beer is called Lotus Dream. There's going to be a lot of Lotus hops on it. And we found out that we both breweries really love these hops, and it's also a hop that it's derived from a Japanese variety from the 1930s. So there's a story there, and it was very exciting to create this beer with them. And also with other breweries, we had like different creative processes. So it's also a way to connect with people, a way to connect with different ways to create. So it was very enriching for us, very cool. That
is awesome. I love it, and I cannot wait to try some of the stuff from some of these people from around the world. Now, for those of you who want to check out some of the events that Maira is doing in New York tomorrow night, the Beer and Cheese Collective, that'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. in New York City. On October 8th, which is Tuesday, she'll be at the Old Rabbit Club from 7 to 9 p.m. There's a meet and greet there with Maira, and then Maira heads down to Washington, D.C. A couple of events there. The Brew Shop in Arlington from 5 to 7 p.m. On October 10th. Also on October 10th, the High Side in Fairfax, and just outside of D.C., right in Virginia there, from 5 p.m. to midnight. Maira will be there at 8 p.m. She'll also be at Andy's Pizza Shaw on October 11th from 4 to 7 p.m. And then, of course, she will be at Snallygaster over the weekend, and then back to New York City on October the 15th, on Monday the 15th. It is at Beer Culture. There's a Japas Tap takeover. That'll be from 7 p.m. To close. My guest has been Maira Kimura, co-founder, brewer, and business strategist for Japas Cervaseria. Beers are available right here in the United States through Beer to National. And Maira, again, as I said, will be in New York City and Washington, D.C. this coming week and early into next week. JapasCervaseria.com is the website for more information. Maira, thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night in Manhattan.
See you. Thank you for inviting me again.
You got
Cheers.
it. Anytime. Cheers. Up next, it's time for Suds and Duds on the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Oh, yeah, final segment of the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. 70 The Answer, Little Doobie Brothers, and taking it to the streets. What a great show on Wednesday night. Boy, that was a lot of fun at PMC, I have to say. That was good stuff. Just brought you back. Brought you back to good times and having fun with your friends and, say, oh, that's old fogey rock. But it really isn't old fogey rock because you know what? It's still good. Love it. All right, portions of the program here, of course, is always brought to you by Wet Ticket Brewing, 1435 Main Street, beautiful Rahway, New Jersey, where this coming Friday we're having our pizza party. It will be taking place at Wet Ticket Brewing from 5 to 8 p.m. I'm buying the pizza. You come in, enjoy the new IPA that is on tap right now. It's called Too Much Fun, and that is the beer that we're going to start off with reviewing. You get to hang with me for a couple of hours. We'll eat some pizza, we'll drink some beer, and we'll have some fun. So I hope to see you this Friday night, October the 11th, 5 to 8 p.m. I know there's a lot of other beer events going on. I know Icarus is doing their Build Me Up Butternut. There's a lot of events. I hope you can squeeze this one in and come by even for a little while. 1435 Main Street, Rahway, New Jersey, 5 to 8 p.m. Again, I buy the pizza. You can drink the beer. You have to pay for the beer, of course. But we'll have some fun. And speaking of too much fun, Nectaron and Sabro, that's what we used in this. Tim added a little New Zealand thiol powder to the mix to give that white grape sort of, smooth out the hop there. This was excellent. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, I knew it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be this good where I could just keep cracking a can over and over. Right at about 6%. Delicious beer. More Nectaron than Sabro. You really want that Nectaron to shine through the Sabro. Thank you, Matt Potensky, for the hint. To not overload it with Sabro because it would eat up most of the Nectaron. So good stuff. Very happy with the way it came out, and I hope you enjoy it too. And please, I want your feedback, good or bad. You tell me what you liked or what you didn't like about it. 100%. I want to hear your feedback on that one. So that was a delicious beer. And then I was over at the King's Theater to see Tedeschi Trucks last week. And I have to tell you, what a beautiful theater. 90-something years old. They restored it. As I mentioned, the guy, I was talking with somebody in there, and they said like 15 years ago, there were birds flying through the building. That's how bad it was. And they've restored this theater. First off, not only is the theater gorgeous, the ceilings and everything else, Tedeschi Trucks was fantastic. But you've got seats that you can actually fit in and sit comfortably, leg room. Like my best friend and I were stunned because we have long legs, that we could actually stretch our legs out without too much of a problem. It was great. My only caveat, the bathrooms were all the way downstairs. That was a bit of a walk. That was a pain in the butt, but what are you going to do? You can't have everything. Anyway, they do have craft beer in there, which is nice. So I had where craft is king. This is Interboro makes this beer. Solid IPA. Nice bite on it. I'm guessing that Interboro is making this in upstate New York and shipping it back down, but nice to see that a local presence is in there. I had some Allagash White as well. Very good. And they had, I think they had Ebbs, and they had... was it Interboro Ebbs? There was something else. I think it was Kona was in there. There was another beer that was in there. And Threes. Three Threes was in there, the Valette Pilsner. That was it. Now, before that, we stopped at the Forever Ink Bar. Forever Ever Ink Bar. A tattoo parlor and a bar in one. Only in New York. I'll tell you, the selection was okay at the bar. Wasn't fantastic. But a Brooklyn lager from Brooklyn Brewery, you can't go wrong with it. They did serve it in a Radburger glass, which was kind of funny, but a delicious beer nonetheless. I love Brooklyn lager from Brooklyn Brewery. It's a great beer. So nice to have that. Nice little spot. Food was decent, and just a short walk up to the King's Theater. We'll be back there in November to see Man of War, which is great. Then on Saturday, Beach House threw their house party. They did this back in, I think it was May or June, and I wasn't able to go to it. I was able to go this time. So they had 10 guest breweries and 20 guest taps. There was no cover, so you pay for what you drink. A lot of members of the breweries were there from 1 to 6 p.m., and then they poured the beer until they closed. They had live music as well. They had food specials. I have to tell you, this was fantastic. So they had Beach House, Autodidact, Departed Souls, Ashton, Twin Lights, Two Villains, Muckraker, Alias Brewworks, Tom's River, Five Dimes, and Coastal Brewworks were all on tap. And I started off with Steve Ashton's Night Dreamer. Steve makes great beer. His Schwartz beer is fantastic. If you haven't been over to Ashton in Middlesex County, you really are doing yourself a disservice. It's in the old Demented location in Middlesex County. Go stop by Ashton. It's a great place. Steve does a phenomenal job with his beers. And I only had the dark lager. I did not have his New England IPA. They had Silver Dragons on tap. But Steve does a phenomenal job with his beer. I can't say enough good things about Steve and his brewery. Definitely check him out. You will not be disappointed. Another brewery that I am enjoying more and more, and Paragon Tap and Table gets it in on the regular, is Autodidact. I had both the Like a Ritual, which I had last week in the can, that they had given me the collab with Twin Elephant, but they had it on tap here. Even on draft, it's fantastic. The yuzu is such a delicious fruit and really, really shines through on this one. That lemon-forward flavor, excellent. I am rarely disappointed by the stuff that Autodidact puts out. In fact, I don't think I've had a bad beer from them yet. Of course, Coastal was there. My boys at Coastal, I had to have both of their beers. The Thalassophile, the Rawaka Strata version. This is a beer that probably the best that Matt has ever done when it comes to IPAs. Excellent beer. Really, really tasty. Enjoyed that a lot. And then I guess I clocked in on some of these. All right, well, I'm going to go through them, and I'll probably go through them again next week. I really don't care because the Thalassophile was really good. Then I had the Monkfish, which is the Patter's beer. That was delicious. Also had the Beach House Zimtoberfest. I have to tell you, I haven't had much from Beach House. And the shame of it all, you know what? We'll get to that in a second. From Muckraker, I had the Coconut Days Stout. I had a small pour of that. That was outstanding. I did not want to have a bigger pour of it because I knew it was going to be boozy, but that is delicious. And the Daylily from Autodidact is another solid beer as well that I had from there. But I had Beach House's Zimtoberfest, which was a cinnamon bun Marzen. And I have to tell you, I was very surprised. I was not expecting much. Very cinnamon forward, very liquid cinnamon type of beer. And it was delicious. I have to say, would I have another one? Probably not. But it was very good from what I had. So that was very impressive. And then, and I'll talk about Beach House in just a second before we wrap up, because then I ended up at Paragon to pick up food. They had their new fall menu out, but also I had a Himmelweisen from Ghost Hawk, a solid half of ice, and Ghost Hawk is pumping out some great stuff as well. And then, of course, Trillium is in New Jersey. So they had Congress Street. So good. Thank you, Alex, for the pour. Excellent. Just really good. It's nice to see Trillium. I want to see more of Trillium stouts as opposed to their IPAs, but I get it. I understand why people are there, because they're there for the IPAs. Now, back to Beach House before we wrap up. I think this is a fantastic concept that Beach House does that brings in guest breweries. But here's the thing. They have a beautiful location in Belmar. There's a rooftop deck. It's 3 floors. They now serve beer on the first floor. It used to be when you walk in, it was just retail. You had to go up to the second floor in order to get beer. They're right on the corner. There's a bar across the street. The beach is right down the block. They're in a perfect spot in Belmar. I wish their beer was better. They have a beautiful tap room. That's a lot of money that the original owner built. And their beer has always been mediocre. Plain and simple. It's never been, I've got to have this. Never wowed me. Never blew me away. I've had Winter Rental. I've had all the old stuff that they've had. Okay, not great. If they actually put some effort into making really good beer, the place would make a killing. They have a restaurant in there. You can get food. You can hang on the roof. You can overlook the beach in the summertime. I just don't understand it. And so, to me, that's what knocks down Beach House a notch for me, because they should be a lot better than what they are. And whether it's they can't retain a brewer, whether it's just the brewing process is whatever, and they have new ownership. So I don't understand why they're a brewery that nobody really talks about. The beer needs to be better. And in this day and age, your beer better be better, because if it's not, you're going to be out of work. Plain and simple. My thanks to everybody involved in the show, as well as my guest, Maira Kimura, one of the ladies who leads that all-female Japanese-Brazilian brewery called Japas Cervaseria. And, of course, last but not least, the great Buddy Watson. Back live on the Joe Piscopo Show Monday at 6 a.m. This has been the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Cheers, everybody.